Okay, check out this scene.
When I'm out on the island, I leave you.
This is from the new music video for Deep Net, which is the title track from my new album. This music video I created entirely using the analog oscilloscope. So this scene is one of my favorites from the video. It's very technical, but it's also very emotional, and I feel like it does encapsulate the feeling of this song, which is this rift opening between two characters. So I wanted to break it down for you because it brings together a lot of the different techniques that I've developed over the course of working with the oscilloscope, and I thought you might want to check it out. Let's look at what's happening in the scene. There's myself and Amy. We're singing, facing away from each other, and there's a gap that's opening slowly. And in between us, you'll see lyrics, and every time we say one of the words, it flashes more brightly. Let's look at the video first. I recorded myself singing the song, and then on a completely separate session recorded Amy singing. I loaded both of those clips into Final Cut, and then I used keyframes to slowly crop the sides of each. I also used a little box to cover up the penguin icon that was on Amy's shirt. Now that video needs to be turned into sound, actually. Turning an image into a set of instructions for the oscilloscope to draw is actually a pretty complicated task. So I'm using a program by a creative technologist named Ted Davis called Oscilloscope. I'm going to open up the video script that he created, and I'm going to pop in that clip that I just made. Here's what we get. Okay, so we got the video working, but now I want to add text to this frame, and I want the text to show up exactly when those lyrics are happening. My first instinct would be simply to do it in Final Cut. I'm going to write the lyrics as titles, arrange them so that they show up in the middle, and then we're going to see what they look like when rendered. Unfortunately, the text does not look that legible, and let's think about why. The movie renderer doesn't really understand that this shape is a letter or a word. It really is trying to trace the areas of most contrast, and it just does not do a good job of that. Now, luckily, there's a different library called Scope Writer that is specialized for text. It's actually a set of instructions. Go from here, diagonally down, diagonally up, diagonally down, diagonally back up. It's actually quite simple compared to having to draw potentially dozens or even hundreds of pixels. This technique is called the Hershey fonts. It was developed actually by a guy who was working for the Navy and wanted to figure out how to print maps faster. Just one of the many things that you learn while falling down the rabbit hole. Real quick, if you are finding this video interesting, or if you find me very handsome or charming, or if you like my shirt, or any of these things, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button. I'm a musician. I've been playing in a lot of bands like San Fermin, Ghost Funk Orchestra, etc. for years, and this is my solo project, and this has been the labor of love for about 10 years, and I'm finally hitting the internet with it. So I would really appreciate if you could hit the subscribe and follow me on my journey. All right, back to it. Anyway, so I'm using the Scope Writer program to draw much more nicely and much more legibly. I copy pasted some of the language from the text program and I put it into the movie program, and let's see what it looks like. All right, much more successful. If we compare that with our earlier attempt, we can see that the letters are much more legible. But this is a music video, right? So I want the text to display in time with the song. So what I did was I figured out mathematically how many frames occur per beat of the song. I know the frame rate, which is 24 frames per second, and I know the tempo of the song, which is 126 beats per minute. So doing the math, I found out that there's 11.4 frames per beat. Okay, from there I can say that if I want the word when to show up on the and of one, that's half a beat. So that is 11.4 divided by 2 is 5.6 frames. So I collect all of that information for every lyric and I load it up into a spreadsheet that is displaying what the word is and when in frames it's supposed to appear on the screen. I also have where it should go in terms of distance from the top and also what font. And so basically when the frame count reaches a certain threshold, it will move to the next set of values and display the word that I want, where I want it, and in what font. Let's see what that looks like.
Out on the island, I leave you in.
It's not totally there, as you can see. And actually, this is running up into one of the fundamental constraints of drawing images on the oscilloscope. So this little dot is racing around the screen trying to trace this entire path as quickly as it can. And the more complex that path is, the less times it can trace it per second, and the legibility of everything will decrease, not to mention the brightness. So I had to kind of think of a different way to do this. To solve this problem, I'm actually leaning on one of the fundamental properties of this analog oscilloscope, which is that the images that you see here are actually being burned onto the inside of the screen. And so what I'm doing is actually having a bright version of the word pop up just for a few milliseconds and then go away, replaced by the other thing. And because this screen is still glowing, you'll see the more legible version of the word for a few extra milliseconds. I have one file which is the render of the words and the figures simultaneously. I have the other audio file which is just the words, and that one's brighter and more legible. Using the take folders function in Logic, I can very quickly splice in just a few milliseconds of the brighter words immediately when me and Amy sing.
Evening, when I'm out on the island, I leave you in the sea. Somebody net provided.
So that was a lot of work just to create basically a few seconds of this video, but every time I see that, I'm really proud of what I did, and I hope that you found this really interesting. I'm going to keep making a couple more of these explainer videos, and I'm going to go into the science of how all of this works, and I'll also be talking about the musicality of this, the harmony, the melody, the lyrics, what they mean, and so I hope you will subscribe to this channel and check out more of that, as well as listen to the music, of course. That's the whole point, is that I wrote this music, and hopefully you find me interesting and charming, and you'll hit that subscribe. Okay, enjoy your day.